How's it hanging there, kaiju collectors and fellow Godzilla nerds? Killer Kaiju here today to talk about a new favorite of mine. I feel like I'm always saying that, but right here today I have the Godzilla Store Exclusive 8-inch Black Kiryu. And this figure is really sleek, let me tell you. I think this figure just looks nice. Like, everything about it is aesthetically pleasing. Just the little details here and there are so nice. What I find so interesting about some of these more exclusive releases is just the consistency and quality. Like, some of them are just really not as good as they could be, where others just, you know, they just took the time with some other details. It's almost to be expected, kind of, with Mechagodzilla. You know, he's really popular, so I'm not totally surprised that they went all out for this one. But man, I really like this figure a lot. Let's dive right in. Starting off as per usual lately with the paint, and wow, the paint on this figure is incredible. So many of the little details and intricate wirings here have the paint like in between here and here. We got it here and here. Like, I love that, even down the tail, going all the way. Like that's what I live for. While not every little thing has it, you know, this is really a step up from what you would expect from a lot of other figures lately. Throughout most of his entire body, he's this matte black color with the silver highlights on a lot of the wiring, kind of on the mesh in between his joints and whatnot. Some red paint around the face. Backpack the same. The spines look really good all the way down the tail. The underside has some of that highlighting as well that I was talking about. And this figure is really well detailed. Like I was pointing out earlier when I was talking about the paint, over his entire body, he's just got these mesh wires kind of going all up and down him right here. I love some of these etchings in the breastplate area here. We got some stuff there. MFS3 right there on the chest. He's got these like wrist-mounted cannons that look cool. The shoulder cannons look good. I'm a big fan of always how Mechagodzilla's spines look, and I quite like the look on Kiryu here. I don't normally collect a ton of 8-inch scale figures, so it's nice to kind of dip into that every once in a while, and really, it's never a bad choice because the detail on those figures is just typically a lot nicer than the 6-inch scale. I really like the way these wrist-mounted cannons he has look. They look awesome. I even like his kneecaps. There's just so many stupid little things to look at. Now, I would love, ultimately, you know, in a perfect world, some more intricate paint detail on this mesh stuff. It's all just kind of one, but I'm happy with that. I especially quite like the little spines on his tail. The way they feel running your finger down them feels pretty cool. They look good. He's got some nice etchings on the side of his face and under his eye. Mouth looks good, the teeth are there, like the wires he's even got kind of on the back of his neck. It looks like maybe we could have painted that right there, but I think I can forgive it. Even same here, some of these more interior kind of bolts and knobs looks like they got missed. Not surprising, it's usually that's the kind of stuff that gets missed. I like the plating here on his middle belly and even going down towards the groin area here. That looks good, his Godzilla groin. Stamp for this guy, kind of at the base of the tail. It's gonna read trademark Toho, Bandai China, serial numbers, blah blah, 2308. Moving on to articulation for this figure, we have 5 points. So it's not necessarily uncommon to have some of these figures where the legs don't move at all. This is one of those figures. So the legs have absolutely no articulation whatsoever. They are in a fixed position. The arms, I'm gonna go 360 degrees around, both of them will. We've got some head action, and the head will spin all the way around. The tail will go all the way around at the base, but what's kind of weird is the spikes here will hit this one, so you kind of get some, you know, some of that going on. Luckily, he's a pretty soft and squishy vinyl, so it won't break or anything. Something that's also cool you don't always see on a ton of Bandai vinyl figures is you get this kind of mid-tail joint as well, so we can spin the tail here and here. Neato. Make some really ungodly looking tail positions that just do not look natural at all. Taking a look at the tag here, it's pretty simple. We've got Kiryu on the front, a silhouette of him on the back, nothing too crazy there. It's got his name and then special black version or something, whatever it says in kanji there. I'm sure that's what that means. 2023, that's the figures from last year. Just a bunch of junk on the inside, typically, you know, that you can't read. Something I always look for and really enjoy in Mechagodzilla figures is the little kind of details, all the little machine parts, like here on the side of his backpack, like these vent spots here, these little nozzles. That's the kind of stuff I love. Kind of reviewing the paint job here, I'm gonna go with a super good. I really like the black scheme on him. It's well applied. It doesn't look sloppy anywhere. Like, they definitely were paying attention here, and you know, it shows. They did a pretty good job overall. Detail, same. We're not really skimping out on any of the wires or knobs or anything all over Kiryu's body here, excuse me. Like I said before, I really like the mechanical and rigid look of the spines on especially this version of Mechagodzilla. I love that about them, even all the way down the tail. Overall, the detail on this figure is incredible, and it's going to get a gnarly rating from me there. This should be a pretty obvious given to anybody. For when I rate this figure for coolness, it just, like, all the detail in the paint works so good for Mechagodzilla right here. It's like the sports car of Mechagodzillas. Now, if I'm not mistaken, an 8-inch black Kiryu like this has been released in the past, so this isn't certainly the only version of this figure you're going to be able to find. But man, this thing is just badass. That's its coolness rating, badass. I'm a huge sucker for Mechagodzilla. Next to Godzilla himself, I probably have the most other figures of Mechagodzilla, be it this one or two or one. Mostly I think Mechagodzilla 1 I have the most of. I'm always happy to scoop another Mechagodzilla to add to my collection. I feel like you can never have enough of them, as silly as that might sound. Typically, I've seen this figure go for around, I feel like $50 to $70, or maybe on the lower end of that would probably be fair if you ask me. I don't normally delve into the 8-inch figure game, but it's always, you know, there's always going to be more detail in my experience when you go this route. So it's worth to me paying a little bit more in that regard. It's certainly worth it in this case. Like, you're definitely getting your bang for your buck on this figure. It looks awesome. I just wish they could apply that to the 6-inch scale figures, because the 8-inch ones, they're just a little bit too big for me to really go in on them like that. That's why I really like the 6-inch scale. These stupid things are such a pain in the ass to put on shelves sometimes. I'm sure some of you guys know. The 8-inch ones, you know, they're always present that challenge. I wouldn't say this is a must-have for all collectors, but definitely Mechagodzilla fanatics. This thing is just, it just like checks all the boxes for me and like what I want from this kind of a figure. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.